Hello, how are you doing? Welcome along to FTUK's weekly catch-up live stream. It is Friday, the 14th of March, 2025. Nearly Easter time. Hope you're doing well and everything has gone well for you in the markets, particularly if you've been trading gold and you've been on the long side. I think we've hit 3,000 already this morning on gold, so congratulations if you're on the right side of that one. Discord is there as always. If you want to join our community, scan that QR code and go and speak to Reza. That's the best place to find out anything that's happening on FTUK's website and with what we are doing with prop. Quite a few interesting topics to run through today. I want to talk about traveling and trading. This is a topic that has occurred a couple of times on our customer support throughout the course of this week, and it's important to know the rules, what you can do when you are moving around when you're traveling when it comes to IP addresses. I also want to talk about which prop account suits which type of personality. It's light, but I think it's quite interesting because if you've never traded a prop account before, how do you know which one to pick? I mean, okay, you can look at the rules, but what is going to suit you? I think it's an interesting topic. Also as well, this is the last chance that you have to get hold of a BOGO 30 offer. That is going to be changing next week. It's not going to be here. So this weekend is your final chance. It's a great deal as well. So yeah, this is going to be your last chance to do that, and we'll run through that at the very, very end. Okay, let's talk about traveling and trading. Now, all prop firms will have rules around this. Obviously, people get into markets because they're looking for freedom. Makes complete sense. Why wouldn't you? Trading is all about having control of your own finances and stuff, and that's fine. Changing locations itself, if you want to open an account and move from one place to another, there's no issues with that. However, there's always going to be some kind of sense of being realistic about what that is. If you're going on holiday, okay, that's fine. If you've got to travel for business, that's fine. But the issue that gets flagged up in a lot of prop firms, and it does at FTUK, is when you have someone that's trading an account and their IP address crops up in a million different places. And that is usually a sign that something is not quite right. So all prop firms will have a rule around IP addresses, and we are no different. And any changes in the IP addresses that you have on the account when it comes to an evaluation point, they need to make sense. And I think that's actually just common sense, not much more than that. Now, the problem is basically this. If you are trading in one location, say for example, you open your account in the US and it's a Monday, and then on a Tuesday, all your trades are from Germany, and then on Wednesday, all your trades from Japan, something's not quite right unless you are an international traveler and you never ever stop. But also, you know, if you're scalping the market as well in your account, then how would that work? So that can be a sign of the kind of behavior that is considered to be suspicious, and that is our system will flag that up. And the primary reason is we don't want people to, if you're trading an account, you've got to trade it for yourself. So if you want to look at the rules themselves around IP addresses are relatively straightforward. They're not complicated, and this governs VPSs, which is a virtual private server, and then also VPNs, which is your classic little bit of software that you have on your computer that changes your IP address. Now, we want all those to originate from the same destination, ideally throughout the duration of the account, but equally that doesn't stop people from needing to go away on holiday. Of course, it's about being sensible. If you want to look at the specific rules, I will show you where they are. They are on the FAQ page. Not difficult to find any of this. All you need to do, that's the actual link, but you don't need to remember that. All you need to do is head over to the website itself, and you can see it on there. If you go to the FAQ page here, and all you need to do is go down to the trading rules down there, scoot your way down, and you'll see it there at the bottom there. Do you allow VPS and VPNs? And it's all on there for you. I'll read it out for you. You are allowed to use a fixed VPS or VPN as long as the trades originate from the same IP address. Should we detect a pattern of utilizing numerous diverse IP addresses from various different countries at the same time for trade placement or attempting to conceal IP addresses, such behavior would be be a violation of the terms and conditions. So you get the idea. It's not complicated. It's about being sensible. So this is really to stop people from pinging their IP address all over the place. We want if you buy an account, we want you to trade it. We don't want people in different communities trying to sort of get involved in different accounts. It's not what the prop company is built around. So if you ever have any questions around this, and I have seen people actually email this, they'll write in and say, I'm going to Dubai next week for a holiday, or I'm going wherever for a business trip, and they will write in and they will tell support. You are perfectly entitled to do that, and that's a good idea as well. That is the sort of thing that helps the accounts team understand who you are as a trader, and we want to get to know you, because obviously when you're backing someone with capital and you're funding them, then it's all about the people at the end of the keyboard. At the end of the day, it's the same with the accounts team as it is with our traders. So it's about being sensible. So it's not complicated, but it is something that you do need to be aware of. And if you're going away, just drop us an email. I mean, you don't have to, but some people do, and that is absolutely fine. Okay, right. Before we get onto the personality types for different accounts, I want to just highlight a new trader interview that we've got coming up on the website last week. We've got a lot of traders now passing accounts, getting funded, getting their payouts, and thankfully they're all agreeing to be interviewed, which is great because it's good to get these guys on the YouTube channel and start to grow our little ambassador group of traders. This chap here, I liked him a lot. He's called Lem. Lovely guy, really nice guy from Malaysia, and I liked his style. Been with us a long time. He traded one of our old 14K instant accounts back in August last year, and yeah, he really had a difficult journey, really dipped down in the middle. He focused on the pound against the Japanese yen. There's a few others in there, but he's a Forex trader, and anyone that's traded the pound against the yen will know how vicious it can be. So his experience as a trader is really, really high quality, and to be able to cope with a market like that and pull his account back round to hit the target was nothing short of spectacular. The little clip here for you now. This is on the YouTube channel next week. I wanted to ask you about that period in the middle towards, I think it was, you were drawn down quite heavily right late into November. How did you go about coping with that? Because it's not easy to then turn the ship around and then bring it back, and you did it in such spectacular style as well. How did you go about that? Because the psychological impact on you questioning your own trading, it must be quite a heavy weight on your mind.
Yeah, I'm stressful during the time because I just curious why the strategy is work earlier on when the market is good for me, but the market is just dynamic. You change after a period of time without your knowledge. You just trade like you are doing well. And then, but if you look at the graph, you're actually going south. That's the things I try to find out during my trading period. So eventually I found, okay, this should be the reason. So I try, instead of do the targeting for the TP, I leave the TP to be open, or at least I have which reward at least 5 to 6 and more than that. So that's the reason I get a turning point. So if you look at my graph, right, I think I take one pound Japanese yen position. That's the first position I do my managed trade. So I think I take the trade for about 2 weeks, and successfully I recover this account for the so-called turning point.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of pressure to be able to cope with, to handle an account like that and in a market like that and pull it back over such a long period of time. The impression that I got, and we've not completely edited all of the interview yet, this is just a little clip of it, but the impression that I got was the way that his technique for pulling it back really was about drilling into the quality of how a thin market operates. And there's an old trading phrase is when you get an outsized gain that you weren't expecting, that arrives at your doorstep much quicker than you than you expected it, is usually a good idea to take the money off the table. And that's clearly what he did. And a market like the pound against the yen is always going to be providing those kinds of opportunities. So essentially, he stood just when he saw, well, I wasn't expecting to get that far on a particular trade so quickly, he would liquidate. And that seems to be what's helped him just tune his strategy into that market and pull back from that drawdown. Very impressive. I liked him a lot. Really, really nice guy. That's going to be on the YouTube channel next week. So yeah, definitely hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel for that one. And yeah, that'll be there next week. Okay, right, let's talk about personality types. Now, this is an interesting one. I thought it's quite a light look at this, and this is the kind of stuff that's really good if you have never traded with a prop firm before, if you're kind of interested, but you're a little bit cautious and understanding where you're getting used to some of the terminology, but you're not really sure exactly which is the best fit for you. There's always going to be exceptions, but I thought it's a kind of quite a nice way to maybe look at the different accounts that we have at FTUK. They are 1 step, 2 steps, and also instant funding. And is it possible to think of a way of defining the types of people that go for different accounts? I think there is. There is definitely something in it. Let's start with the 1 step. Now, the 1 step obviously is a single hurdled type of account. You're going to get funded after you've passed one particular set of challenges. That's different from a retail brokerage account, and that's absolutely fine. You're going to have to adhere to a certain minimum day factor, so there's a time factor in there that you're going to need to be okay with. That indicates a certain level of patience if you're going to get involved in it. Also, as well, with our 1 step, you have a trailing drawdown, so you're going to need to be someone who is risk focused. So you're going to have a little experience in understanding how your particular strategy works, and also as well, you're going to get your payout faster because you've only got 1 step. So what kind of personality does that suit? Well, it's quite a functional account, really. It's quite a basic, historically one of the primary ways that most prop firms would operate. So it's considered quite a stock in trade kind of basic functional account. And it would then suit someone that has that kind of mentality towards their own trading. They see it as being a functional part of the way that they are generating money throughout the course of their month or throughout the course of the year. It's probably going to be someone who has already traded prop before. They maybe had several 1-step accounts before, so it's not going to be new to them. And they're also going to need to be, there's someone who is focused on speed. They want the money. They only want to get through the door. They want to just do what they've got to do so they can then start requesting a payout. And therefore, someone who is in a 1-step, I mean, I'm talking very general here, and there's always going to be exceptions. But you could argue if your focus is to get across the line and get the money, the scaling is less important than it is getting those initial payouts. So as in like getting money through the door now is probably going to be quite a motivating factor. So that's someone who is maybe a 1-step suits that kind of a person, someone with a little experience already and has probably already done 1 or 2 along the way. How does it feel? Okay, well, this is important because the sense of achievement that you get when you pass a prop account is different from when you're trading in a retail brokerage. And can you actually sort of say that one feels different from the other? Actually, I think you can. A 1-step, you do get a sense of a very strong sense of achievement. And it is different from trading a regular retail brokerage account, not just because you didn't have to put $5,000 of your savings into an account and you only paid a fee. It's the fact that you've got all of these rules around the account, which you have to follow if you want to get where you want to go. Now, that's obviously that is a good thing in itself, but it's something that you don't get with a retail account. So they are different. Once you pass that 1 step and you hit the target and you get funded because the account team has assessed it, yeah, you get a really good sense of like, wow, that was good. So the sense of satisfaction that you get from trading a prop account, specifically a 1 account, is very, very, very unique. It can give people a lot of confidence. And then what they do, and I spoke to another guy we've got another trader interview, which will come in the next week, but I spoke to him this week, and he said that he didn't realize just how much having to stick to rules would help him as a trader. He really did. I mean, he was like, wow, actually, yeah. And because he said initially he looked at all the rules that we have and he thought, gosh, this is quite strict. But then when he'd passed, he was like, actually, that's really good, because he could see the benefit of what it turned him into as a trader. So having that structure around you is very, very good. And so you get that sense of achievement when you are working with a 1-step. What about a 2-step? Now, this is different because obviously the pricing is different as well. These are very, very cheap gateways into the prop sphere. They're very popular as a result of the cost, but you've got two hurdles to overcome. You've got two stages. So therefore, it's going to be much longer. It's going to be much slower. We've got some parameters on what we need you to show us, but that verification level is designed to sort of give us that extra sense of confidence in you as a trader. You've got a static drawdown, so it could be that your sense of risk doesn't need to be quite as fine-tuned as it is when you're working with a trailing drawdown in the one step, but the two hurdles is going to make it a much more drawn out process, and the rules are going to change from one step to the next. So that really is very, very different way of working with prop, and it does suit a different type of person. Now, I think when I was sort of reflecting on this, I think when it comes to two steps, we tend to get two types of people. And I've labeled them type 1 and type 2. So type 1 person is someone who's incredibly professional. They are a seasoned pro. They have been around the block a lot. They really, really understand how prop works and what they want to get from it and how it all functions and how it fits in with them as a trader. They're happy to play a longer game. They have the comfort and the confidence in themselves that that's okay. They have that, and it's very, very strong. Financially, they are very, very well optimized because they see the efficiency of the small amount of money that they've got to outlay for the account against what they can get further down the road. They're not fazed by the fact that there's two steps. I've spoken to quite a number of two-step traders, and they are my favorite. You can see when you speak to them that they're very, very serious in the way that they think about things. And I always ask them, well, was it harder? And they say, no, not really. No, it's just because the two-step process, they're so tuned into what they need to do. They're not actually fazed by having to do two evaluations. So they have that, they can almost sort of sit back a little bit. That's very, very different. That urgency is not there. And that comes from competency and confidence. They're less likely also, I believe as well, to want to just get over the line so they can get the payout. They tend to think much bigger picture. They tend to think about the scaling, about where they're going to go. Because obviously when you scale, and we have an amazing scale, one of the best ever scaling programs at FTUK, the game, little pro tip, the game gets easier the further up the scaling you go. You can be more relaxed. Don't need it does the bigger your capital, the easier the whole trading game gets. That's how it works. A lot of those two-step guys, the guys that are the seasoned pros, they've figured that out. So that urgency is something that is not there, and they're quite happy to play the bigger picture. So as a result of that, they've been around the markets a lot, and they know their strategy, and they know what it is that they've got to do. So that's the first type. Second type is the complete opposite. And this is probably really driven by price. And this is the guys that are completely new. They're total newbies to prop. They've never done it before, and they want to dip their toe in the water. And there's nothing wrong with that, because as a prop firm, we cater for everybody, no matter where they are in the trading journey. And that is what all of the accounts are designed to do. So they're completely new to the market, and they're close to the start of their trading journey. And if you've been trading for a number of years, you'll know exactly what I mean by that. Maybe they've tried one or two techniques. They're just getting used to the market. They're really interested in gold. They're really interested in certain types of things that are very popular in the retail trading space, and they're finding their way. They don't know everything yet, but they're at that starting point. They're also as well someone who's probably not really totally ironed out their strategy. They've got a bit more work to do in knowing who they are as a trader, whether they're going to be they're going to focus on scalping, or they're going to be a swing trader or a long-term position trader. They're more likely going to be a first-time prop trader as well. And this is really because they're not used to it. So people, when they're not used to it and they're getting used to the terminology, price does tend to be a driver, and because two steps do tend to be the cheapest gateway in, it makes sense. So that is a logical way to actually think about that. But what is very, very important about these kinds of type 2 traders is that they are serious, because what they see is that the advantage that they're getting with a low-cost two-step is different from just opening a retail brokerage account with a demo account. Because in demo accounts, well, that's it. We can all be millionaires when trading a demo account. That's wonderful. Try and get a payout. Yeah, it doesn't work. If you go for a small two-step account, a very small one that's just relatively cheap, then at least you have some skin in the game as you're trying and you're developing. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. This is the sort of person who's still getting involved, and as a result, they want to keep the costs low. So it's a very, very interesting type of account, and I do think that the customers that we get, the traders that we get in two steps, they do fall into one or other of those brackets, and that shows you the testament to how a two-step account works. So what does it feel like? Well, this is, I think, is the very, very underrated when it comes to prop firms, and that is that if you pass a two-step, then it feels incredible. The sense of achievement that you get with a two-step is absolutely astronomical, because you have just passed the hardest challenge that there is. And to get through that, you've done amazing work. It's showing that you know your strategy. It's showing that you are very confident in what you've done. You've managed to handle the market volatility, and you've managed to handle the different frameworks of rules that are put around you and the demands that are put on you as a trader from a risk point of view. And you've done that twice and proved yourself. If you can work like that, you're a good trader. That's why two steps, historically, they tend to breed better long-term traders down the road, you know, and obviously we have to provide accounts for all sorts of different types of traders, but there's no question that two-step traders, they do tend to stand out as being, you know, good market professionals. So the sense of satisfaction, I feel, in passing a two-step is a lot stronger than it is just on a one-step. Yeah, and I think that is a testament to the people that take this. And from having spoken to a lot of two-step traders now, that is definitely something they feel, that inner sense of confidence. Because if you can handle this, you can probably handle anything. It's a really, really important point. Okay, let's look at the last one as well. And this is what we are most popular for. We sell the most instant funding accounts of anybody out there in the instant funding business. This is essentially the biggest thing that we do at FTUK, and we do it very, very well. It's a different type of account from the one-step and the two-step, because the barriers, there's no barriers to getting involved. It's just instant funding from the get-go. You obviously have to pay the fee, and you get the account there and then. So we're assuming that you are good enough and you know what you are doing. You're not going to have any minimum days around there. We have a trading drawdown on instant at the moment on that. So you're going to need to be someone who is risk focused. And but with the benefit, of course, of this is because it acts pretty much like a real retail brokerage account. Payouts are on demand. As long as you're consistent, you fall within the consistency scores, then the parameters on the account, then you can get your payout. So it's very fluid. It acts just like a normal retail brokerage account to a large extent, but of course you don't have to put the all of the deposit into the account, of course. So who does this particular account suit? Well, it's possibly someone who has already had a retail brokerage account. Not always, but it is someone who's got that experience in the market, and they've maybe already gone down the road of opening a retail brokerage account. Maybe they've had some success. Maybe they've blown it up, and they're now in a position where they think, okay, well, I need a bit more protection, you know, so they're maybe just sort of like halfway through their journey. They could be someone who's already, that's never traded with a prop company before, but they've got that experience with a retail company, a retail brokerage, so they just want to just translate that and make that cost cheaper and make it less risky. So they just move from one to the other. So they tend to be more normal type retail traders, as opposed to people that have specialized in understanding the rules around prop. And that's just the nature of how these things work. They're also going to be someone who is very, very focused on the payout, because the payouts are on demand if you're consistent, and so they're going to be looking for a very fast payout once they've purchased the account, and that's fine. It depends what your goals are, but everyone's got slightly different priorities. That also then means that they're potentially going to be slightly less risk averse, which is why the trading drawdown is in there now. So we need to make sure that people have got that sense of understanding that, okay, this is not a retail brokerage account. You do need to sort of like you need to sit within our risk parameters at all times. But as a personality, they probably need to maybe do a little bit more work on that area. The higher account sizes for the initial payouts, what that means is we tend to, out of all of the accounts that we've got, in the instant funding accounts, the higher sizes are the most popular. And I think that's a quality of people being very focused on getting that payout. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But they do tend to be the kinds of people that will spend that money and want one of those higher accounts. And as a result of that, the majority, not all, but the majority will have some sort of an understanding of the market and the industry, what they're interested in trading. Even if they've not perfected their strategy, they will have that sense of the industry. And that probably becomes because a lot of people will have that go for an instant funding account. They will have had a retail brokerage account before in the past as well. So that's a good look round the different ones. Now, and the instant funding itself, how does that feel? It's very empowering, because if you've struggled with capital in the past, all of a sudden you've got that retail brokerage experience. You've got that capital. It's there. It is. It's there in the account, and you've got the firepower and the tools and the support around you that you need to execute the way that you want to execute. So in that sense, out of the 3 different accounts, it probably feels very, very empowering to use a trader. You feel you've got that capacity now, which you maybe have been lacking in the past. And it's very similar to a retail account. You barely get a cigarette paper now between our instant funding accounts and a normal retail brokerage account. And that in itself can feel very exciting, but you've got to be very, very careful. There's less with less structure. You have to be more motivated and proactive as a trader. So where you're going to get a lot more stringent rules in a 1 and a 2 step, it's a little bit looser around the instant funding, but it's still there. You still need to be risk averse, and you still need to fall within our risk parameters. But some of those stricter rules are not in place, which is what I said before. When you pass a 2 step, it feels so much more rewarding, because you've had to go through the mill. It's like you've gone through military training for 6 weeks. You're going to feel a lot stronger and a lot fitter as a result of that, rather than just someone who's gone down the gym every now and then, and they've just worked out on their own. So that structure can really, really help people. Now, what's the right answer? Well, there isn't one really. It's up to you. It's up to you to decide how you want to work. We provide different routes for different people, and different people will choose how they want to work and tailor their accounts based on their own criteria, their financial criteria, and also their goals as well. As always, the best thing that we could maybe sort of say to anyone who's looking to get involved is keep it small. Start at a point that you feel comfortable with. As always, you can get a free trial as well with FTUK. The free trials are very popular. Give it a go. You get a 100k account and try it out for yourself for 14 days. See if it suits you. And then, as you know, we've always got lots of offers on the website as well, so you never have a problem getting a discount for something. And give one of these accounts a try. Yeah, really interesting stuff, that. Really interesting stuff. So finally, let's now talk about, we do have offers on the website all the time, but they're always changing. And this offer is about to end. This is our last chance to capitalize on our BOGO 30 offer. It ends this weekend. This is a fantastic deal. It's 30% off all of the accounts, 1, 2, and instant funding. 30% off that, but you do get something slightly different depending on which one you go for. If you go for a challenge account, that's a 1 step or a 2 step, then you'll be able to get a free account. We'll give you a free account after you've had your first payout on the one that you've purchased, which is an outstanding deal. So it's kind of like, buy one, get one free, which is obviously what it means. If you go down the instant funding route, then you don't get that. But what you do get is you do get an extra 2% drawdown on the account right at the start, which is a fantastic deal. That is it. All done for another week. Yeah, fantastic. I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, definitely. Things are getting interesting in the markets and at FTUK. If you've been involved in gold over the course of the last few days and you've been on the right side of it, then congratulations. Have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you all next Friday.